Hi everyone. In this class, we will see about principle and working of turbine flow meter, and next one hot wire anemometer and laser Doppler anemometer. These are the different types of flow measuring instruments. In this class, we will see first one turbine flow meter. In this turbine flow meter, we will see about the what is the working principle and what is the operation of this turbine flow meter and what are its advantages, disadvantages. And next one, hot wire anemometer. In this hot wire anemometer, what is the construction of this hot wire anemometer and what is the operation of hot wire anemometer and what are its advantages, disadvantages. And final one, laser Doppler anemometer. In previous classes, we will see about the different flow measuring instruments. These are also some of the flow measuring instruments. First of all, you can see what is turbine flow meter. So it is the image of the turbine flow meter. So what is the main purpose of turbine flow meter? So in the turbine flow meter, we will use turbine to calculate the flow on that different pipes. If the pipes are in different sizes, the flow should be calculated on that pipes and the flow should be controlled on that pipes. Because this relation, we will use this turbine flow meter to calculate the how much amount of flow rate is involved in that pipelines. And what is the construction of this turbine flow meter and where we construct this turbine flow meter and how we calculate the flow measuring, uh, how we calculate the flow on that different types of liquids. We can see first of all, the turbine flow meter is a type of measurement meter which is used for measure of flow and provide exceptionally accurate and reliable digital outputs. So turbine flow meter is a type of measurement meter. It is a type of measurement meter to measure the flow rate on different liquids. To measure the flow rate, it is also known as measurement meter, which is used for measure of flow and provide exceptionally accurate and reliable digital outputs. So that is turbine flow meter. What is the working principle of this turbine flow meter? The turbine flow meter is used for translates the mechanical action of the turbine rotating in the liquid flow around an axis into a user readable rate of flow. These meters are an ideal solution when high accuracy, compact size, and fast response are critical requirements. By using this turbine flow meter, the main purpose is to calculate the flow rate of the different liquids passing through the pipes. What is the working principle is turbine flow meter is used for translates the mechanical action of turbine rotating in the liquid. So one turbine is placed in the turbine flow meter. We will place a turbine on the turbine flow meter. So in that turbine, the flow is running on that pipe. The turbine should be rotating based upon the vanes, turbine vanes. Okay, it is a user readable rate of flow. So how much amount of flow should be passing through that pipe and through that turbine flow meter, the flow rate should be increased, the turbine speed also increased. So the turbine speed based upon the flow rate of the liquid in that pipe. These meters are an ideal solution when high accuracy and high compact size and fast response and critical requirements the turbine flow meters is used. What is the working operation of this turbine flow meter? You can see this diagram. If the turbine flow meter is arranged in the middle of the pipe, so if the turbine flow meter is arranged in the middle of the pipe, so it is the turbine flow meter. It is the overall setup of the turbine flow meter. In this overall setup of this turbine flow meter is connected the middle of the pipe. Suppose it is the pipe. Suppose it is the pipe. In this pipe, the turbine flow meter is connects through the middle of the pipe. Okay. So in the turbine flow meter, a rotor is connected through this turbine flow meter. In that rotor, the rotor vanes are placed in the rotor with connection of the slip joint or bearings are placed in this rotor. Okay. So whenever the flow occurred on that pipe, the turbine vanes is rotating. So the flow is occurred on the veins. So the fluid is passing through the veins. Suppose the fluid is passing in this direction. The fluid is passing in this direction. So automatically the fluid touches the veins. The vein should be rotating in this direction. The vein should be rotating in this direction. So whenever uh, we apply the flow on the pipe, whenever the lever should be open on that pipe, the fluid is flowing. Then the fluid is flow on that pipe. The turbine flow meter is placed on the middle of the pipe. So in the turbine flow meter, a rotor is placed and a rotor with connection of turbine blades, that is called turbine vanes. In that veins, whenever the fluid is touched through that veins, automatically that rotor vanes are rotating. In that rotor vanes are rotating, the turbine also rotates. So when the turbine rotates, the electromagnetic field should be generated. That is, we can see, that is magnetic pickup or other frequency output device. So that is magnetic field. The magnetic field should be generated. That is the output signal. That is the output signal. So in that output signal, it is calculating the speed of the vanes, speed of the turbine. Okay. So in that speed of the turbine is calculating through the a mechanical device. A mechanical device. So the speed is calculating by using a mechanical device. Okay. So that is the overall working principle of the turbine flow meter. And next one, you can see it is the pipe. In this turbine flow meter, it is the pipe, and these are the turbine vanes. These are the vanes. Whenever we flow the fluid on that pipe, so the fluid is passing through that pipe. So whenever to touch the fluid on the vanes, automatically the rotor shafts will be rotating. Automatically the rotor shaft should be rotating. In that rotor shaft rotates, the turbine should be running position. In the turbine is running position, it is connected through this to transmitter. In this transmitter, it is an mechanical device. It is an mechanical device to calculate the speed of the rotor shaft, to calculate the speed of the turbine. So in the turbine, we can calculate the flow rate of that pipe, flow rate of the fluid. So the fluid is passing through high speed. The turbine vanes are rotating at very high speed. The fluid is passing through that pipe, low flow rate. The turbine speed is low. So in this operation, we can calculate the um, flow rate of the by using this turbine flow meter. Okay. you can see this arrow mark. The flow rate is that is the input to the turbine, and the fluid is touches through that vanes. The rotor shaft is automatically rotates, and the impeller is also automatically rotates. In that impeller we connect a magnet poles. In that impeller we connect a magnet poles. So in that magnet poles, the frequency should be generated. In that frequency is calculated as a mechanical device. In that mechanical device, it is calculating speed. The speed of the turbine should be calculated. That is the flow rate of the fluid. Okay, so that speed should be calculating by using inducting coil. A inducting coil is placed in between the flow meter, turbine flow meter of the pipe. Then automatically it will transfer to the electrical energy to the signals to be transmitted to mechanical speed, mechanical device to be calculated speed of the turbine. Okay, so that is the procedure to calculate the flow rate of the fluid by using turbine flow meter. Okay, so what are the different parts in this turbine flow meter? You can see to transmitter, rotor shaft, impeller, turbine vanes, magnetic poles, inducting coil, and blades. Okay, these are the vanes. Okay, so straightening vanes are cross vanes. Different types of vanes are used in this turbine flow meter. Okay, so that is the overall setup of the turbine flow meter. So the flow is occurred in the turbine flow meter. You can see this. The flow rate is passing through these directions. Through this different direction of flow rate is occurred on the pipes. The flow rate is passing through that pipes. So whenever the fluid is touch the vanes on the turbine rotor, automatically the turbine rotor shaft should be rotating. The turbine should be rotating. So the magnetic poles are arranged in this turbine. So it will generate the magnetic field. It will generate the magnetic field. In that magnetic field, it is converted into a mechanical speed by using a mechanical device. Okay, so that is the procedure to calculate the flow rate of the fluid in the pipe by using turbine flow meter. Okay, what are the different parts? You can see a rotor shaft and flow direction. It is the flow direction. It is the flow input and fluid input and fluid output. That is the flow direction. And turbine rotating direction. It is the direction of turbine rotating. Whenever the fluid touches the turbine vanes, automatically it will rotates in the direction. In this type of direction, the turbine should be rotating. And the turbine and counter motion sensor. The motion sensor is calculated the speed of the turbine. Okay, these are the constructional details of the turbine flow meter. So it is the overall setup of the turbine flow meter. You can see this arrangement. Whenever we place the where we place the turbine flow meter in that pipeline system, so the flow is occurred on this pipeline system. That is the red indication mark. It is the flow. In that flow, that is the flow controlling valve. That is isolation valve. Isolation valve means it is the it is used to control the flow rate. Okay, by using this isolation valve to control the flow rate. And next one, in that flow is also connecting through this pipe at it is bypass valve, and that bypass valve, it is isolation and flow rate control valve. So input isolation control valve and output isolation control valve. In these two control valves, middle of these two control valves, I am placing one turbine flow meter. I am placing one turbine flow meter. By this turbine flow meter, how much amount of flow should be um, getting on these pipelines, it is calculated. Okay, you can see the diameter of the pipe is 10. It is the 10 pipe diameters, and it is turbine flow meter. In the turbine flow meter output, it is connected through 5 pipe diameters. The diameter should be changed. The input diameter is different, the output diameter is different. So The flow should be calculated by using this turbine flow meter. So the fluid is passing through this direction. The fluid is passing through this direction. So it is also a 10 pipe diameter. It is also a 10 pipe diameter. The flow is same in these two pipes. Okay. Next, Alane, it is also 5 pipe diameter. It is also 5 pipe diameter. The flow is same in between these two pipes. Okay. These two pipes are the flow rate is same. So the flow is passing through this area by using this isolation valve to control the flow rate. Whenever we open the total, the valve should be opened totally. The flow rate is at very high speed. So high amount of flow rate occurred on this pipe when the turbine should be rotating at very high speed, and uh, the flow rate of the pipe is calculated at very high speed. Okay, high flow rate on are getting by this pipe, and we adjust the isolation valve, and to control this isolation valve the flow rate should be controlled, and the turbine flow meter should be the speed should be controlled, and it maintains what is the flow rate occurred on that pipe, that amount of speed getting on this turbine flow meter, and it is the magnetic field should be generated, and it is uh, by using these mechanical components the speed should be calculated on this turbine flow meter. So that is the overall working procedure of the turbine flow meter. So it is the diagram in the turbine flow meter. Uh, by the industrial purposes, this type of turbine flow meters are used. Okay. So in this turbine flow meters are fixed in between the middle of the pipes. Okay. So it is the sensor device to calculate the speed of the turbine. And what are the advantages and disadvantages of this turbine flow meter? Advantages: high accuracy. High accuracy should be maintained by using this turbine flow meter. And next one, suitable for extreme. It is suitable for extreme temperatures and pressures, and it can be used on gas or liquids. So by this turbine flow meter, we can calculate the flow rate in gases also, liquids also, and the different suitable temperatures are also the temperatures and pressures are also maintained to calculate the flow rate on that pipes. Okay. And disadvantages: only for low viscosity. So the turbine flow meter should be calculated the flow rate in uh, only for low viscosity of fluid should be calculated. We can take the high viscosity of fluid, the flow rate should be not calculated. Some errors are placed in that turbine flow meter. That is one disadvantage in the turbine flow meter. And the moving parts. And next one, sensitive to flow profile, require clean fluids. These are the disadvantages of this turbine flow meter. And next one, and next flow measuring instrument, hot wire anemometer. So first of all, what is anemometer and why it is used, and what is the purpose of anemometer? You can see it is the instrument that we use to measure gas flow rates. So in this anemometer, we can use it to calculate the gas flow rate. We can use it to calculate the gas flow rate by using this anemometer. One method is to keep the temperature of a heating element, a gas flow constant, and measure the power required. One method is keep the temperature of a heating element. So one of the method to calculate the flow rate in gas, it is a heating element. That means the temperature of a heating element in a glass flow constant. So the gas is flowing on the constant, the temperature, the hot wire is placed in between the um, flowing of the gas, it should be cooled. So uh, whenever the gas is touched that hot wire, So the hot wire should be cooled. Then it is automatically calculates the by using sensors to calculate the flow rate of gas in this anemometer. Okay, so that is the anemometer. And what is hot wire anemometer? In this hot wire anemometer is a device used for measuring the velocity and direction of the fluid. So by using this hot wire anemometer, it is a device measuring the velocity and direction of the fluid. So to measure the velocity and direction of the fluid, it can done by the measuring the heat loss of the wire which is placed in the fluid stream. So whenever we place the hot wire in the fluid, it is automatically decreases the heat loss. So it is the hot wire should be um, the hot wire should be uh, decreased at the temperature. The hot wire should be the is coming across to cold temperature of the hot wire. Okay, so the wire is heated by electrical current. The resistance of wire measures the flow rate of the fluid. First of all, how to heat that wire, electrical wire? So by heating that electrical wire, we will arrange a Wheatstone bridge circuit. By using that Wheatstone bridge circuit, the voltage is passing through that Wheatstone bridge circuit that is connected through one wire, that is hot wire. So the voltage is passing through that wire, the temperature of the wire should be increased. Then uh, that's why it is called hot wire. Okay, that's hot wire is placed in the a gas flowing an environment or any type of pipe, any type of devices. The hot wire is placed in that gas flow rates. Automatically the temperature of the hot wire should be decreased. So the hot wire gradually decreases the temperature. So it will come to cold wire. Okay, so that's why we can calculate the how much amount of gas flow rate in that area. We can calculate by using that hot wire anemometer instrument. So it is the setup of the hot wire anemometer. In this hot wire anemometer is used for measurement of flow rate of fluctuating and unsteady flow. So by using this hot wire anemometer, we can calculate the flow rate and fluctuating and unsteady of flow of current and unsteady of flow should be calculated by using this hot wire anemometer. Okay, you can see this hot wire anemometer. It is the pipe. I'm taking one pipe. So in that pipe, I am placing a Wheatstone bead circuit. By the Wheatstone bead circuit, by using that Wheatstone bead circuit, through connection of one galvanometer, it is connected through a wire. It is the wire, hot wire anemometer. You can see it is hot wire anemometer. In this hot wire anemometer is connecting through the Wheatstone bead circuit. In that Wheatstone bead circuit, uh, one of the two of the ends is connected through battery, and another two of the ends is connected through this hot wire anemometer. Okay, so one end, the two ends is connected through the anemometer. Next two ends is connected through the battery. Okay, so in that battery, the power supply is passing through this battery. By using the Wheatstone bridge circuit, the electricity is passing through these wires. When the anemometer should be heated, so that's why it is called a heating element. That's why it is called hot wire anemometer. So whenever we place the hot wire anemometer in the gas flow rate, gradually it decreases the hot wire into cold wire. So the temperature is gradually decreases in this hot wire. Okay, so based upon this, how much amount of temperature decreased we can calculate it by using this galvanometer. How much amount of temperature should be decreased we can calculate by using this galvanometer. So the gas flow rate should be calculated by using this galvanometer. So the temperature should be decreased uh, for example 40%, that 40% of decreasing temperature should be calculated in this galvanometer. So in that based upon that galvanometer, the gas flow rate should be calculated. Okay, so that is the overall working procedure of the uh, hot wire anemometer. In this hot wire anemometer, we have so in this hot wire anemometer, we have two different types and two operating devices. So depending upon the electronic equipment, hot wire may be operated in two ways. So the hot wire air anemometer should be operated in two ways. One is constant current mode and another one is constant temperature mode. So I will already explain about this constant current mode. We will see about the constant temperature mode, and you can see constant current mode also. In this constant current mode, wherein the heating current voltage across the bridge is kept constant. So the current in the voltage should be constant in the Wheatstone bridge. So I am taking one Wheatstone bridge circuit. That Wheatstone bridge circuit is connected through the anemometer. So the current passing through that Wheatstone bridge is constant. So the current in the Wheatstone bridge is constant. And initially the circuit is adjusted such that the galvanometer reads zero when the heated wire less in stationary air. So normally the galvanometer shows the zero element. So the wire is in stationary air. Whenever the air flows, that hot wire cools, the resistance changes and the galvanometer deflects. So whenever the air is flows, the flow of air is getting on that different areas of pipes or any other open surface areas, we can place the hot wire. So that hot wire gradually decreases the temperature when it will comes to the cold wire. Then the resistance changes and the galvanometer should be deflected. The resistance should be changes in that hot wire anemometer. Automatically the galvanometer should be deflected in position. The galvanometer deflections are amplified, measured and correlated with air velocity by previous calibration. By using these galvanometer deflections, I can calculate the flow rate of the air in the by using this hot wire anemometer experiment. So it is the overall setup of the uh, hot wire anemometer with a constant current. Okay, you can see there is a battery arrangement. It is the battery arrangement. This battery arrangement is connected through this uh, two ends of the Wheatstone bridge, and another two ends of the Wheatstone bridge is connected through the galvanometer, and it is connected through this galvanometer is connected through the anemometer. Okay, so and the resistance R1, resistance R2, resistance R3 is located in the Wheatstone bridge. You can see that pipe, the gas flow is passing through this hot wire anemometer. So whenever we touch the gas flow on this anemometer, gradually the temperature should be decreased in this hot wire anemometer. So in that temperature decreases, it should be we can see on this galvanometer deflections. By these galvanometer deflections, we can calculate the flow rate in the how much amount of flow rate occurred on this device. We can calculate by using this setup. Okay, next one, constant temperature method. In this hot wire galvanometer, we can see the another operating method. It is constant temperature method. So the temperature should be in constant. So before we discuss about the constant current method, in this method constant temperature method, that temperature should be constant. So how should we calculate the gas flow rate by using this device? In constant temperature mode, wherein operating resistance of the wire and hence its temperature of maintained constants. So constant is maintained at temperature. The constant temperature is maintained on this hot wire anemometer. In the event of tendency of hot wire to cool by the flowing of fluid, so we will maintain a constant temperature on the anemometer. So the gas flow rate is passing through that hot wire anemometer. Gradually, it will decreases the temperature of the hot wire, and the deflection should be uh, calculated by using this galvanometer, and the external bridge voltage is applied to the wire to maintain a sensible constant temperature by the voltage regulator to maintain the constant temperature on the Wheatstone bridge circuit of the anemometer. Okay, so the bridge voltage is varied so as to bring the galvanometer needle to zero. The reading of the voltmeter is recorded and correlated with the air velocity. So that is the operation of the constant temperature method of the hot wire anemometer. We can maintain a constant temperature on this hot wire anemometer. I can place a voltmeter. By using this voltmeter, I can maintain a constant temperature on this device. So the gas flow rate is passing through that hot wire anemometer. Gradually it will decreases, and we can uh, fluctuates the voltmeter currents, voltmeter, and fluctuates the galvanometer. We can calculate the flow rate of the gas by using this device. Okay, so that is the constant temperature method of the hardware anemometer. And next, another flow rate measuring device, it is laser Doppler anemometer. By this Doppler effect is a method of measuring linear velocity when a narrow laser beam. By using this a narrow laser beam, we can calculate the flow rate of the uh, different areas by using this laser Doppler anemometer. So in this laser beam or radio beam or ultrasonic beam is also calculate the flow rate. Is focused on an object, the beam will be reflected back to the source. But if the object is moving, the frequency of the signal received back will differ from that of the transmitted signal. This difference in frequency Doppler shift becomes a measure of the velocity of the object. So you can see this laser Doppler effect. It is also known as LDA, a flow measuring device. In this LDA flow measuring device, so the Doppler effect, it is working of the based upon the laser beam or radio beam or ultrasonic beams are passing through that different flow rates of the airs or liquids or gases or any types of solutions or blood flowing device. We can calculate the how much amount of flow rate occurred on that different uh, devices. Okay, but if the object is moving, but in this laser Doppler effect the object should be moving, it is calculated the flow rate. The frequency of the signal received back will differ from that transmitted signal. So we can pass the radio signals into that source of object. That signal should be received, that signal should be received back will differ from the transmitted signals. By using this received back signals, we can calculate the flow rate of this laser Doppler anemometer. This difference in frequency because a measure of the velocity of the object getting on this Doppler shift. This LDA is used to measure flow. We can calculate the flow rates of different devices. It is especially high frequency turbulence fluctuations, uh, and this device can be measure velocity of flow precisely, and they don't disturb the flow during the measurement of process. So the flow is continuous process. We can calculate the how much amount of flow rate in that device. We can calculate easily by using this laser Doppler anemometer. You can see what is the description of this laser Doppler anemometer. What are the different constructional details? You can see it is the laser. In this laser, it will use the beam splitter. I can use a beam splitter. The light is passing through the beam splitter. It will split the light. Okay, it will split the light. I will place a lens in between the source of object and this laser. I am placing lens. By using this lens, um, it is passing and it is coincident with one particular point of that flow. We can calculate the signal processing and display unit. We can calculate the how much amount of flow getting on this device by using this LDA process. Okay, so that is it is the flow occurred in the device. So the laser beam is passing through that source of object, that is fluid. I am taking one fluid or solid particles. In that solid particles, how much amount of flow rate is getting, the reflection of the light emitted through this lens L2 and getting a PMT, that is signal processing display. So that signal processing display, we can calculate the flow rate of the particles. Okay, so that is the description of the LDA process. And a laser source, that is an argon laser or helium neon laser used in this laser Doppler anemometer. A beam splitter that splits the laser beam into two equal intensity of beams. By using the beam splitter, it will split the two equal intensity of beams, and a lens to focus the two split laser beams at an intersection point. And a photo multiplier tube, a photo multiplier tube is used for the flow whose velocity is to be determined. It is to be noted, and that flow should be contain small particles to scatter the light. The particle concentration should be at very small. By using this photo multiplier tube, we can calculate the velocity of the flow. So by using this PMT, you can calculate the flow of velocity on different devices. It is to be noted that the flow rate in the particles to be scattered at light on the object. So the particle concentration should be at very small. So what is the operation of laser Doppler anemometer? The laser source sends a beam that is split by a beam splitter into two beams, and the two parallel beams are focused by the lens L1 such that they intersect at a point in the test section where flow exists with particles. In the region of intersection, interface fringes are formed. The particles that pass through the intersection of the beams scatter the light from the both the beams. The scattered light experiences a Doppler shift in frequency that is directly proportional to the flow velocity of the uh, object. That light collected a photo multiplier tube. The device is constructed such that a directed and a scattered beam travel in the same optical path, so that an interface will be observed at the PMT that is proportional to frequency shift. This shift then gives the indicating flow of the velocity. The signal processor is used to retrieve the velocity data from the PMT. I am using a signal processor to retrieve the data of the PMT. It is calculated a flow rate of this by using this laser Doppler anemometer to calculate the flow rate. And finally, what are the advantages of this laser Doppler anemometer? The device does not disturb for the flow during measurement. So the device is not disturbed for the flow is running position. The device measure velocity directly. In this device, the velocity of the flow rate is directly measured, and volume of sensing part can be very small, highly accurate, and can be used to measure flow of both gases and liquids. Both gases operation and liquids operations, we can calculate the flow rate. And disadvantages of this laser Doppler anemometer, it requires transparent channels and cannot be used in clean flows. So the LDA equipments are not used in the clean flows, and it requires the transparent channels. And what are the applications of these laser Doppler anemometers? So where we use these LDA uh, instruments, it is wind tunnel studies, blood flow measurement, sensing of wind velocity used in the field of combustion. These different areas, the LDA equipments are used to measure the flow rate. So thank you guys. We will discuss another topics in next class. Thank you very much.